You're watching the 2022 Women's World Lacrosse Championship on ESPN. Here comes a consolation game from the championship bracket for 11th place as 8-seeded New Zealand, 5 and through to the tournament, faces 4 and 3 15-seed Puerto Rico. And with that, good afternoon and welcome. I'm Ralph Bednarczyk. Both teams falling in close games yesterday, particularly for New Zealand, as they had an opportunity to find themselves battling for a top 10 finish and maybe finish in ninth. Instead, they lost on a goal with 2 seconds left to Scotland. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico just didn't shoot the ball great yesterday against Wales, lost 9-6, so we'll see who can dig deep today and finish this tournament on a real high. Let's have a look at our highlight players, and they're both goalies. For Puerto Rico, the future is bright. This is their first World Championship appearance. Their goalie, Tia Riemann, is not yet 21. She'll be a sophomore at Princeton in the fall. 3 times in this tournament, she's made 5 saves in a game against the likes of Canada. Super quick hands, and she likes to challenge out of cage. And for New Zealand, perhaps this is the finale for their goalie, Sally Rutherford. She's a legend in their country. It's her 4th World Championship. She's been to the Summer Olympics twice as the goalie in field hockey for the Kiwis. 40 years old, her work ethic and professional approach is what she has been known for over the 21 years she's been playing lacrosse. So New Zealand would love to send off Sally Rutherford off with a victory. Puerto Rico trying to set the bar high for the future. 11th place is the battle coming up next.
Every player knows the skills you learn on the field can be the foundation for anything you choose to do in life.
Thank you for the sweat, the tears, the pride, and for the celebration we share.
When I reach for a stick, it's like I'm shaking hands with history. Thank you for connecting me to a greater community.
It's more than a game to me. It's a gift to be a positive force in young athletes' lives. And I'm thankful I can help the next generation develop a love for the sport.
When I was his age, those moments on the field meant everything. Thank you for giving us a way to stay connected, even as they get older.
We're growing beyond goals on the field.
And our futures are united.
You give me the opportunity to fuel aspirations
And to ignite potential.
So thank you, Lacrosse.
For inspiring me to be me.
We are better,
Safer.
and wiser together.
And we're building a stronger future
For everyone.
It's coming. The world is coming to San Diego. 30 nations, 30 teams. Only one will be crowned world champion. There's nothing like playing for your country. This is the pinnacle of sport. Be here as legacies are forged and history is made.
'15-seeded Puerto Rico, 8-seeded New Zealand, playing for 11th place today. Ralph Bednarczyk back with you as our 2 coaches. Natalie Bermudez, with a journey this has been dating back to 2 years ago when she coached the 2019 team for Puerto Rico that went undefeated. And Casey McLean, who played for New Zealand's men's team, both as an attackman and a goalie. I'll get into that story. Trying to finish up this tournament on a real high. New Zealand has finished 8th place. That was in their best finish in 2017. New Zealand on the black on black, white on white for Puerto Rico. Skylar Carrasquillo collects another draw control. She's among the leaders in this tournament. That's her 32nd draw. And Puerto Rico looking for the clear, and they get to go on offense to start out here against New Zealand. Aaron Jagger makes the start here for New Zealand. Casey McLean has been splitting his goalies, so in all likelihood, we'll see Sally Rutherford play the second half. if not sooner. But Jagger also very, very strong. He has consistently split them this year. This tournament, Jagger making her 3rd start, 5th appearance. She's made just 8 saves, 28% save percentage. So Puerto Rico on the attack with Christina Clayton. This feed here for Alexa Vega, and Vega is denied down low by Jagger. So as she outlets ahead, overthrows the pass, and the follow-up here from New Zealand. And they got possession with Sarah Butler, who played collegiately in the United States. 2016 Longwood University graduate playing in the Big South. She is from Melbourne, Australia, but her heritage from New Zealand. The attack for New Zealand, Nikki Fordyce with Sarah Butler and Keita Perry. Briar Bertram as her dodge to the left, and that's over the top. Also making the start for Puerto Rico. Her first start of the tournament is Bethany Bonilla Colon, graduate and 25 years old now out of Emmanuel College in Massachusetts, 2019. So she'll have an opportunity here at the start of this one, and we'll see how it shakes out. It's the end of a long road for the two teams. There are a total of 4 games tomorrow, so the vast majority of the tournament ending today. New Zealand with the midfield of Harriet Overend, Briar Bertram, and Anya Koss. Bertram with 2 goals and an assist yesterday against Scotland. Free position against Bonilla Colon. And as she took it in, she never got the shot off. Sarah Cedarstrand appeared to be the closest defender for Puerto Rico on the breakup. So as Puerto Rico looks to transition and deal it back, Gabriella Henson-Vendrell will bounce it to their captain, Monica Negron. And stepping across is Rutgers graduate this year, Sarah Cedarstrand, who's got a job set up in New York City. He's not going to use her 5th year. And these World Championships represent such a fork in the road for many of these women. The next World Championships are slated to be 4 years from now. The under-19s will be 2 years from now. Skylar Carrasquillo. Vega, crease roll. And Alexa Vega will go to the 11. She represents a great future. Just finished up her junior year, and she represented Puerto Rico 3 years ago at the PALA, the Pan American World Lacrosse Qualifiers in Florida. She takes it in, and the save made by Jagger. 2 early ones for Erin, and they're on the outlet for Sophia Morcom. As Morcom has leaned on, let's have a look in your lower left-hand corner as that ball handcuffing her, and Jagger able to stay with it. He brings a different style and the future bright in the goalkeeping position. Jagger, experienced like Rutherford as well. This is her 3rd World Championship and brings just a little bit of a different style as a goalie. And that's worked for New Zealand, changing things up. And if you're not familiar, in the international game, coaches will change up their goalies much more frequently than what we see in the United States at the college and high school levels. Negron all over Sarah Butler, the chief feeder for New Zealand. Butler attempting to face dodge. Now the redodge outside, down the right alley, and that's Koss. Anya Koss at a 3-goal game against Hong Kong starts the scoring in this one. Koss also with U.S. college experience, just finished up her career at the University of Montevallo in Alabama. Division II program, but she's from Hamilton, New Zealand. graduating with a degree in exercise science, and she was all conference there. Koss hits double figures. That's her 10th goal of this tournament, and shooting over 50%. Draw control, Brianna Carrasquillo. New Zealand does have 4 members of their team that have played or play U.S. college lacrosse. They have 2 alternates that they're very, very excited about. Sophia Weber and Sienna Neal, that are high schoolers going into their senior years that have goals of making it to the United States and making it back here to play. And what's been cool is that there are festival games taking place adjacent to the World Championships. There is a shot, and the save is made on Natalie Panzini. So Jagger looks very calm and relaxed, as always, as she throws the outlet, and New Zealand looking for transition from Alana Moet. Moet all the way, and she beat Bonilla Colon. Just sneaking it inside the post. Bethany saw the shot and got a little piece of it. 2-0 New Zealand. So New Zealand able to push transition in this case. Coach Casey McLean prioritized some younger legs, depth in the midfield when putting together this roster. Knowing you're going to be playing 8 games in 10 days, there's Casey. Great visit with him before the game. And someone that has truly persevered in his lacrosse career. So he has seen it from a number of different angles. Carrasquillo again. Puerto Rico fell yesterday to Wales 9-6. Feed to the crease, Brianna Carrasquillo. That was a long rope thrown by Natalie Panzini. Just off of entering the restraining line, and Puerto Rico strikes. Look at the pass here from Panzini. This had to get through a couple of defenders. Brianna with her 12th for Puerto Rico. The attack will see a lot of Brianna Carrasquillo, Delaney Rodriguez-Shaw, and Antonella Henson-Vendrell or Christina Clayton. The midfield, the Panzini sisters of Natalie and Maria Panzini with Skylar Carrasquillo. This is Brianna Carrasquillo. Then the low D, Sarah Cedarstrand, captain Monica Negron. And Bianca Diaz making the start today from Weston, Florida, in front of Tia Riemann. New Zealand with Reese Jocks on the low D with Taylor Barker and Danielle Hadwin. Nice feed into the crease, and it's a goal. Another good pass. That's Delaney Rodriguez-Shaw, who has shown how multi-dimensional she is. Skylar Carrasquillo ties it at 2. Rodriguez-Shaw has shot the ball great here in the World Championships, 55%, 16 goals, but she chips in her 5th assist. And then Skylar, all the work that she has done in the draw circle for this World Championship, and just quietly put in 12 goals within that huge role that she has to play, handling draws And what a nice foundation piece this is for all the players that are still going to college. Skylar, 19 years old, will be a sophomore at Yale. Draw control belongs to New Zealand. New Zealand won their opener 10-8 over Ireland. That was a must-win game in terms of breaking through and getting to the championship bracket. They would go 4-0 against Ireland, Austria, Spain, and Hong Kong, China. They were able to earn the 8th seed, but lost 12-3 to one of the big stories of this World Championship, and that's Japan, the 9 seed. And they were contained 12-3. Came back and won the next game, the consolation bracket, 15-8 against Hong Kong. And lost yesterday, that heartbreaker, to 5th-seeded Scotland, 9-8. Negron steps in front of Bertram to knock down the pass. And our lead official, Patty Clacka-Porter, will put Bertram behind. Then Negron. And then Negron, after losing it, turns it right back over. Briar Bertram, big athlete, will run midfield. Another foul by Negron. And a yellow. A yellow is out. And that's Skylar Carrasquillo. So our first woman-up situation, New Zealand had grabbed the 2-0 lead. Kata Perry, up from the 2019 U19 squad and a rising star in the program. Also the one that leads the haka, the famed haka, that New Zealand performs before games in all sports. Ball turned over, Koss was the cutter, and the pickup for Puerto Rico. So they look for the transition from Isabella Henson-Vendrell. So down a player, Puerto Rico can spread the field and play keep away for a bit. And New Zealand goes offside in the redefend. And now they chase with the double team by Sophia Markham. Henson-Vendrell will have to go back. Blood on the jersey of Gabriella Henson-Vendrell, so she has to leave. That's why we have the clock stoppage. And Clayton is fouled. Well, the running time benefits the team that is down a player a lot. If you just get fouled, take a shot and have backup, that wastes a lot of time, just like this is doing. Danielle Hadwin then fouling there. Now a chance to get to the front as they go in, and the shot misses over the top from Adriana Nojaim. Nojaim started the first 3 games on low D, has chipped in a lot more at midfield since. Nojaim waits for time to expire. It has. We're 6-on-6. Skylar Carrasquillo off the yellow. The shot, Jagger the save low. New Zealand the pickup. Bertram, who's said to be fresh at this point in the tournament still. And then she has it checked away from behind. And with a collision on this end, the ball will go to Puerto Rico. 18 seconds remaining, first quarter. Chance for one more look for Puerto Rico. They throw it over the top. High pass intended for Natalie Panzini. And New Zealand could not come up with it. 6 seconds left. Panzini in front. Puerto Rico's got the lead. The big target is Skylar Carrasquillo. Puerto Rico 3 straight. That's how the first quarter will end. Puerto Rico in their very first World Championship, thinking about the future and how they can, they're going to reset the clock to 5 seconds. The goal does not count. Wave it off, it's 2-all. So Natalie Panzini, as she feeds, it's Carrasquillo. Will that count? It does. Well, that's even fancier. That's a little tip shot. Puerto Rico with some terrific passes in this first quarter. Natalie Panzini, 2 assists. Both were dandies. 3-2 Puerto Rico after 1. Puerto Rico battling back from the 2-0 early deficit against New Zealand in this consolation bracket 11th place game. Here for 9th place, these two teams lost yesterday, so Scotland, the 5 seed, will take on 14-seeded Wales coming up tonight, 8 p.m. on ESPN+. What a great battle that is. Forget the seeds there. That is going to be such a good game. A lot to look forward to. Two rosters know each other so well, and just first reaction, that is staring at being a 1 or 2 goal game with 5 minutes left. It's a one-goal game here. Carrasquillo able to reach a little higher and come up with the draw against Anya Koss of New Zealand. Skylar goes 5'11", and that extension there helping out once again. Clayton finds the second cutter. Natalie Panzini, ready 2 assists for Natalie, maybe another as she feeds inside for Brianna Carrasquillo. Foul on Puerto Rico. New Zealand quick goals from Anya Koss off a dodge. Alana Moat in transition. New Zealand with Reese Jocks. Moat. Alana Moat with college experience playing at St. Joe's. This is Danielle Hadwin. Koss knocked away Maria Panzini. A clean strip in the open field. Monica Negron. Yesterday in Puerto Rico's loss 9-6 to Wales. It was their shooting as there is Negron. And a charge called. She ran over Koss. That's the right call. Yesterday, Puerto Rico done in by a couple of aspects. They had the majority of the stats, but they shot 0 of 5 in the first quarter. 22 official shots, so 6 of 22 for the game. 1 of 6 on free position. Harriet Overend. And she crosses. 3-2 Puerto Rico. And then Puerto Rico had a player pick up a second yellow and a red. So that meant 5 minutes of being woman down. Wales was able to score during that. And Sophie Coombs-Roberts, such a handful as an attacker. Along with Iona Dryden, very experienced Wales team. That's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. against Scotland. That's Nikki Fordyce. Fordyce also played at Longwood College. That's the U.S. college most connected to New Zealand, at least in this current generation, along with Sarah Butler. And that skip pass by Olivia Archer, dealt right back behind for Sarah Butler. Butler, a 2016 Longwood graduate. Nikki Fordyce graduating this spring. Well, the cutter was there in KK Shum for New Zealand, but an active stick for Puerto Rico, and that's Sarah Cedarstrand. She knocked the ball down. Puerto Rico looks for the clear. Panzini, transition. Rodriguez Shaw up ahead. Brianna Carrasquillo. Those two connecting. And a little transition look, and now Puerto Rico builds a 2-goal lead. Second of the game for Brianna. So New Zealand failing to get back defensively. Puerto Rico 4 of 9 shooting after Erin Jagger had made 4 early saves. Carrasquillo able to self-draw. And that's now 6-1 in the circle for Puerto Rico. And New Zealand will have to find an answer, or at least get the ball out to the circle. Nojaim enters in. Nojaim with 2 goals, 2 assists against Norway in her first appearance offensively. Last night against Wales, went for 1-1. Puerto Rico has been able to use their depth through this tournament, and something that excites Coach Natalie Bermuda as well. Just thinking 4 years from now, it's a long way away. But she's gotten to know the personalities of this group a lot, and to really see and visualize their potential and how much further they can go down the road. The vast majority of this Puerto Rico squad is either currently in college or about to go to college. Transition for Moat. Amana Moat leads a 4-on-3. As she drops it off down low, it came Butler inside, and Shum is fouled over the top of the head. KK Shum, the 4th attacker. Bonilla Colon in goal for Puerto Rico. Shum to Cage, hit the post. Follow-up pulled back out by Moat. New Zealand to run some more offense as we near 8 minutes left, first half. Dwyer Bertram. She, along with Shum, are nurses. Bertram trying to get to her right hand. Bounce shot, and Bonilla Colon making her best save. She saw that bouncer coming. Bethany Bonilla Colon, known to be very good on low shots. And she fires the outlet here to Cedar Strand. Puerto Rico looking for the clear, leading 4-2. And a nice handle there from Bonilla Colon on the replay. Rodriguez Shaw to quarterback. She has yet to take a shot, but she has been prolific. 55% for Delaney through the tournament. Now she threw it inside, and as Jagger makes the save on Antonella Henson-Vendrell, she's knocked down. Free position for Puerto Rico coming with their 0 for 1. She'll turn it down. Here's the first shot for Rodriguez Shaw. Jagger the save with the stick handle. Her 5th save, and New Zealand has needed all of them. Great look at that from our crew, and you can see that was just off of the stick head. Rodriguez Shaw was able to slip the defender, but the foul before that from the feed on Nojaim. Foul coming off ball, so Antonella Henson-Vendrell. Free position from the 11-meter. She'll pass as it carries through on the angle. Puerto Rico does not force. Isabella Henson-Vendrell. All three Henson-Vendrell sisters on the field at the same time. Numbers 2, 3, and 4. Antonella, the oldest. Gabriella and Isabella, they are twins, 18 years old, going to play at Villanova. Vega, nice turn with the left hand, and Jagger denies it. Like she was swatting a fly. Jagger then throws the outlet over the top for Bertram. Bertram chased by Nojaim, and Nojaim just able to deflect it away and come up with the caused turnover. That was textbook redefending by 15 in white. Isabella. Rodriguez-Shaw down to the crease it comes, and Jagger came out to block the shot. Antonella was looking for the slam dunk. New Zealand with jocks. Taylor Barker, a police officer in New Zealand, will get it ahead for Julia Falconer. And New Zealand, while it's just a 2-goal game, they've been fortunate. And look at the redefend by Puerto Rico. They are all over the 3-low D of New Zealand. Three minutes left, first half. Maria Pansini. She redodges, now uses the shoulder, save made again, Jagger. She's up to 7 in the first half. A good defending by Danielle Hadwin to force a tough shot. And now can New Zealand clear? This has been an adventure. Hadwin. And she'll get a little space after the foul on Maria Pansini. And now the dangerous check. They'll have to back up Maria Pansini again. Anya Koss. It's been a while since New Zealand has been on the attack. Despite the 2 early goals, they have just 6 shots. With a tough drive, and Harriet Overend will generate a much-needed free position for the Kiwis. Overend and the collapsing defense. The stick of Vasquez may have knocked it out. Anna Riemann, the defender, will outlet for Bonilla Colon. We work our way towards 40 seconds remaining with the clock stopping under 30 seconds on any whistle. Brianna Carrasquillo, the skip. Natalie Panzini. Rodriguez-Shaw, a tough drive. Jagger has been up to the task. New Zealand to get it ahead. Here's the latest stop. That's off the body of Jagger. Still time here. The shot would not have counted for Olivia Archer. Puerto Rico, 4 straight. Bethany Colon had to make just 1 save. Erin Jagger, meanwhile, up to 9 for New Zealand in the battle for 11th place to close out this World Championship.
Yo, do you know? I've seen it all before. There goes Tiger, just as sharp from the bending knee. My main man, Money the King. There ain't nothing I ain't seen.
Okay, old school. Have you seen someone ball like Ja Morant? You know you can't. You've never seen anyone like a thing. The point guard queen, Sky, or Chloe Kim. Do you know there's never been anyone else like them? Look, OG, no disrespect. I know you think you've seen everything, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Checkmate.
Every player knows the skills you learn on the field can be the foundation for anything you choose to do in life.
Thank you for the sweat, the tears, the pride, and for the celebration we share.
When I reach for a stick, it's like I'm shaking hands with history. Thank you for connecting me to a greater community.
It's more than a game to me. It's a gift to be a positive force in young athletes' lives. And I'm thankful I can help the next generation develop a love for the sport.
When I was his age, those moments on the field meant everything. Thank you for giving us a way to stay connected, even as they get older.
We're growing beyond goals on the field.
And our futures are united.
You give me the opportunity to fuel aspirations
And to ignite potential.
So thank you, Lacrosse.
For inspiring me to be me.
We are better
Safer.
and wiser together.
And we're building a stronger future
For everyone.
Well, it was a promising start for 8th-seeded New Zealand in this 11th place game, but Puerto Rico shook that off. A couple of goals apiece from Brianna Carrasquillo, Skylar Carrasquillo. 4-2 is our score. Puerto Rico, with 4 straight goals, has the lead at the half over 8th-seeded New Zealand in this consolation bracket 11th place game. And back here at Towson, Ralph Bednarczyk. Well, both coaches have admitted their players are really, really tired. 8th game in 10 days, but I don't know if we can tell on the outside that that's what's happening as we look at our highlights. Both teams have played very hard and want to leave everything out of the field. For New Zealand, Erin Jagger got the start. Boy, she looks sharp. 9 first-half saves. And these are all high percentage looks. That's one of the top shooters in Rodriguez Shaw that Jagger fights off. But then for Puerto Rico, the Carrasquillo sisters have combined for the 4 goals. Here's 2 from Brianna. Nice feed from Natalie Panzini. Then Rodriguez Shaw over the top. Transition tally for Brianna Carrasquillo. That made it a 4-2 Puerto Rico lead. As we look at the shots, trouble for New Zealand. Those 6 shots came, I'd say, in the first 12 minutes of the game. The 9 stops by Jagger, and then 6 of 7 draw controls for Skylar Carrasquillo. New Zealand has to find a way to get some more possessions. Puerto Rico looking fresh. They've got a 4-2 lead at the half. We're back with the 3rd quarter on ESPN+.
We want the gold medal. We've been dreaming of it our entire lives. But this summer, we want more. We have an opportunity together to change the sport and women's athletics for the better. The eyes of the lacrosse community will be on us. Never has this sport been more popular. Never has this platform been bigger. So what's this about? A team of talented women with a shared goal. Inspiring a new generation, one whose identity is a sense of pride and not a limitation. Relentlessly pursuing equity in our sport and beyond. We want the greatness of all women's athletes to shine. The world will be watching. Let's put on a show. This is more than a medal. Are you with us?
Fasten your seatbelt.
The game you've always loved just found a new gear.
Introducing World Lacrosse Sixes.
It's speed and scoring.
Tempo and transition.
Athleticism and action.
It's big-time energy packed onto a smaller playing surface.
It's the game you've always loved, brought to you at warp speed.
1, 2, 3, whack!
It's lacrosse on the Autobahn.
Don't blink. This is World Lacrosse Sixes.
You're watching the 2022 World Lacrosse Women's World Championship from Towson University's Johnny Unitas Stadium. Puerto Rico 4-2 over New Zealand as we start the 3rd quarter. Puerto Rico causing havoc on New Zealand as well, trying to clear. We'll see if New Zealand can be a little bit more composed and to just try to handle. They've turned it over 8 times, and they've also got to get better here in the draw circle to have a chance at this one. New Zealand losing last night 9-8 to Scotland. They were down 5-2 though at the end of the 1st quarter, came back and had a chance to win the game. They turned it over with 22 seconds remaining. On the other end, Scotland star Zoe Dixon scored on a free position with just 2 seconds left. That's why New Zealand is playing for 11th place today rather than 9th. That matchup is Wales and Scotland coming up after this one at 8 p.m. Eastern. What do you know it? Puerto Rico on another draw control. This one won outside the circle by Maria Pansini. And for New Zealand, Erin Jagger has played that well that Casey McLean is going to keep her out here. He has been splitting his goalies, including the legendary Sally Rutherford. They have gone back and forth who plays first half, second half a bit. But Jagger has played so well. Looking to roll back, Natalie Panzini. That's good defense by New Zealand's Alana Mowat, but a little bit of a bump creates free position. So Natalie Panzini right at Jagger. Well, at this point, free position and giving up a foul is a good play for New Zealand. And you want to give Jagger savable shots from the 11. Here's another look. And for Puerto Rico, perhaps some of their shooting struggles could come back to hurt them here. Puerto Rico now 4 of 16 shooting, so that's similar to the number yesterday, 6 of 22 against Wales. But they've turned over New Zealand so much. Carrasquillo. Brianna Carrasquillo turned and fired. Got it from Skylar. Well, yesterday Wales was able to make Puerto Rico pay for a poor shooting game. New Zealand has barely had the ball. Rodriguez Shaw, tough catch. Jagger again fights it off. Back to work, and somehow Jagger stepped out. She gambled to try to intercept the pass, reached Brianna Carrasquillo off the quick restart. 5-2 Puerto Rico. So Brianna now with 3. I don't know how many times the sisters have connected on a goal, but there you saw one of them. Both from Alpharetta, Georgia, but grew up on Rocky Point, Long Island. Brianna had played 4 years at Rocky Point High School's varsity, 7th grade through 10th. Starting 3 of those, and then a 2-year starter at Milton High School in Georgia, which is one of the powers in that state. And the Carrasquillos, who are playing well today. Some great bloodlines. Their grandfather attended Villanova, where he played football. More immediate mom playing Division II basketball at the late, great Dowling College. A school that's closed its doors for about 5 years now. (5-2) Puerto Rico. New Zealand with a lot of work to do. Nikki Fordyce was bothered. Kata Perry will come up with it. Fordyce was second team All Big South early in her career. This year at Longwood, 37 points and a 9-point game against Howard. Koss will swing it over for Sarah Butler. Butler, a 4-year starter at Longwood during her time. Now living back in New Zealand, working as a teacher. Anna Riemann, great read, stepping in front of Nikki Fordyce. Negron, the ground ball pickup. So another New Zealand turnover. Stepping to and through is Isabella Henson-Vendrell. And even though the score is just 3 at 5-2, Puerto Rico in complete control. And can New Zealand change this game? They had some moments in the first half where transition appeared like it was going to be their ticket. Canzini forced back, and that's going to require them to try to turn over Puerto Rico. Question mark move, Rodriguez Shaw missed a great look. The 20th shot for Puerto Rico. Feed inside, that's another look that misses for Brianna Carrasquillo. So Puerto Rico keeps back up. Skylar Carrasquillo, high pass, and it comes down to Jagger. She's made 12 saves. Now comes up with that one. Moat, surrounded by players from Puerto Rico. Koss over the top, and here comes New Zealand on cue in transition. It is Olivia Archer, but did not charge in perhaps aggressively enough inside the 11. And as she tried to pull it back out, New Zealand gives it right back. And that's been a microcosm of this game for the Kiwis. And a rare chance perhaps to create something out of that. New Zealand only one look from free position. Nojaim circles out of trouble. Has the cutter, Brianna Carrasquillo stepped in the crease. Well, she tried to catch and shoot all in one motion. Would have been awesome if she had a chance to pull that off. And look at this tough degree of difficulty. Still able to get enough of a controlled shot off. Erin Jagger entered this game with just 8 saves. She has 12 in this game. Sally Rutherford has gotten the bulk of the duty, and Casey McLean with a bit of a focus on the future. Save is made. Moat, the shooter Bonilla Colon, made the save inside of her stick. Could not control the rebound, and now New Zealand fouls. Sally Rutherford has made 24 saves through 6 games coming in, as we see that stop by Bonilla Colon. Nojaim got an angle. Adriana Nojaim. So the first for Puerto Rico, not named Carrasquillo to score, but it's 6-2. And the dodging for Puerto Rico also has been effective. Their first 5 goals had been assisted. And Nojine back to the left. She'll be a 5th-year senior at Lemoyne in Central New York. Maternal grandparents are from Puerto Rico. And she was their captain this year. 31 goals, 20 assists as a midfielder. Loads of draw controls and ground balls. Skylar Carrasquillo. Self draws, off it goes to Nojine. Four minutes left, third quarter. A little bit of a copy and paste from the second quarter. Puerto Rico commanding possession. They've scored 3 more times. The feed by Nojine into the crease. And Skylar Carrasquillo was the target. Good pressure by New Zealand's Taylor Barker, but recovered back, won back by Puerto Rico. Barker played at Wingate College Division II program in North Carolina, graduating in 2020. Maria Pansini, offensive foul. Barker, more good defending. So New Zealand's are trying to clear. And Hadwin sees the opening, has the pass, Shum cannot get the shot off. And for New Zealand, they've accomplished the chore of getting a clear. And they have been held scoreless for a little over 30 minutes. And a foul off ball, and Briar Bertram. An opening to try to get to the 11. Bertram, the shot off target. Bertram, New Zealand's second leading scorer with 12 and 2. Sarah Butler has also gone scoreless for New Zealand. Their scoring leader for the tournament, 15 goals, 7 assists. Fordyce also quiet. And for New Zealand, that was just their 7th shot. Harriet Overend continues and ends the long scoring drought. A goal to shake off some frustration for New Zealand. 6-3. So New Zealand able to finally run some offense. Overend in her 2nd World Championship appearance. Sixth goal of the tournament. New Zealand's high watermark for the tournament, 16 goals against Austria, 15 in their 2nd meeting against Hong Kong, China. They also faced Hong Kong in this consolation bracket 2 games ago. But they were held by just 3 against a similar type of opponent to Puerto Rico in terms of style and quickness, and that was Japan. and losing 12-3 in that 8-9 game of the first round. And had they won that game, they would have had a chance to take on the United States. Puerto Rico got a chance in the 15-2 game to face Canada as we get a foul. And this year in a 29-team bracket, exciting for the Women's World Championship, and eventually we'll be in the men's side where we have our first ever 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15 in the champions bracket. Unable to get a shot off is New Zealand on free position there. And that was Briar Bertram, and that's frustrating for New Zealand not to get her a look. And that is the end of the third quarter. Puerto Rico got the first 3. And they have very much locked down New Zealand behind Bethany Bonilla Colon in goal. They've held New Zealand to just 10 shots. Still 15 minutes left for the Kiwis. It's just about the end of a long 10 days for these two teams. 11th place game has Puerto Rico leading New Zealand 6-3. Gold medal match and bronze medal match are tomorrow. Tomorrow, the championship game is at noon Eastern Time. The U.S. and Canada meeting for the second time. The bronze medal match, Australia versus England, in the morning at 9:30 a.m. on ESPNU, both here from Johnny Unitas Stadium on the campus of Towson University. I think it's going to be a heck of a game. From watching both the U.S. and Canada play, that first game July 29th after the opening ceremonies, and as Scott Teeter has admitted, you don't want to show all your cards. I'm sure Jenny Levy the same thing. You're going to make adjustments based on how the teams have performed over 7 other games and the other games in pool play. And I see no reason to believe that Canada can't win, that they're going to be in the game with a chance. And particularly with the draw controlling options of Kay Morissette and Dana Dobie, that seems like a great enough a reason that Canada can actually build a lead and stop some U.S. runs. Fourth quarter begins here. Puerto Rico with their eyes on 11th place. They've outshot New Zealand 23-10. Brianna Carrasquillo trying to drive left. Barker put it on the ground. Barker gets some help from defender Ella Freeman. But it's Puerto Rico able to win that. Erin Jagger still in goal for this fourth quarter as the skip comes across. And we're going to get a card coming out against New Zealand. First of the game as Anya Koss tackled Puerto Rico's Maria Pansini. So the 2-minute yellow for Puerto Rico to try to extend this lead. And Maria Pansini will look for something better. Brianna Carrasquillo, Natalie Pansini gets shooting space. And Skylar Carrasquillo's pass sailed away from Maria Pansini. Puerto Rico kept it hot and just missed on the pass. So New Zealand still with about a minute left. They'll have to find a way to clear. And they'll throw it to near midfield, and here comes Harriet Overend. Harriet, beautiful job of reversing course. She'll get into the box. New Zealand, who has struggled clearing the ball today, will take it behind the goal to safety. In goal here for Puerto Rico, Tia Riemann to start the fourth quarter after Bethany Colon played well in her first start. And Puerto Rico to now try to close it out. Colon, 3 saves, 3 goals allowed while she was in there. And Bethany Colon here taking a pause from her active service duty as a part of the U.S. Air Force in Florida. And her great devotion to making this Puerto Rico team near and dear to her heart. Being a member of the Air Force for Bethany in honor of her grandfather, Vicente Colon, who passed away due to COVID. Puerto Rico also getting Bianca Diaz on the field, who got the start today at low D. And here comes a card out against Natalie Pansini. So New Zealand able to get even, and now they'll be up a player. 11:42 left. They are still within striking distance. Bertram, and nearly got through 2 defenders before she lost the ball. Just too many sticks there, and Tia Riemann has it. Negron slips the pass ahead for Tiana Vasquez as she steps in the box. So neither team able to be effective with a player up. Skylar Carrasquillo, 2 goals and an assist, and commanding in the draw circle. And New Zealand cannot even get to her to put some pressure on her. And they're up a player for a few more seconds. Ten seconds left on the card. Clayton will go across, and Puerto Rico is going to escape that situation. Then they pass. Rodriguez Shaw beats Jagger to the ball. Perhaps a devastating goal for New Zealand. 7-3 Puerto Rico, just a mere few seconds after the card expired. Puerto Rico has connected on passes well in and around the crease when you look at their goals today. New Zealand calls timeout. Brianna Carrasquillo fed the ball. Erin Jagger expecting the pass, but couldn't reach it. So Rodriguez Shaw makes it a 4-goal lead for the second time. That's her team leading 17th of this tournament. And what a building block summer this has been for her before she goes back to Duquesne and has a chance to build on her Atlanta 10 Rookie of the Year award. She scored 2 goals against Canada, 4 goals against Israel in a losing effort. Two goals yesterday against Wales. And Puerto Rico's talent is here, and they have a lot in the pipeline. They have 8 players back from the U19 squad that went 8-0 in Peterborough, Ontario, beating pretty good teams, including New Zealand. Now, New Zealand was the Pool B runner-up in the U19s that year. But unfortunately, Puerto Rico, because they were still an associate member, could not compete in the medal round. But they defeated New Zealand, who was in the medal round, 12-11. And New Zealand does have several that played on that team, such as Kata Perry, New Zealand also has a couple of age groups that are participating right now, part of their future, as the sport has grown a lot at the high school level. As Casey McLean estimates that most of the high schools in New Zealand now have lacrosse. They have 2 age groups at the high school level that are participating in a big tournament this week in Australia. Draw controls now 10 of 13 for Puerto Rico, as New Zealand swarms. Patience from Puerto Rico and in control as we near 8 minutes to go. They've shot 7 of 24. So they could have really blown this game open if not for Erin Jagger's 12 saves. New Zealand also up to 13 turnovers for the game. And the quickness of Puerto Rico has allowed them to avoid turnovers themselves, dodge a little bit more freely, Puerto Rico turns it over there in New Zealand with Anya Koss up with it. And New Zealand will look for the clear. Trying to get across, Kata Perry. They have a cutter, Bertram. There it is for New Zealand. After getting the clear, they did not allow Puerto Rico to get set up. Nikki Fordyce on the pass. And as Bertram came off the curl cut, that's where she was able to use her speed. We've seen it a little bit in transition. And she could be New Zealand's top athlete. Her second world championship. So Briar Bertram with her 13th, 7-4, 6.5 left. And a bit of a 50-50 ball, but it's Nojaim that still is able to rake it to herself. So a rare occasion where Carrasquillo did not win the ball to herself or off the circle. Puerto Rico found themselves lower in the championship bracket, the 15 seed. They fell to Israel, competitive 14-11 game in pool play. They got off to such a great start here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Pressure by Bertram, and she can miss the foul. As Puerto Rico led that game 6-2, and the game radically changed as it can in lacrosse. 6-2 with 1 minute left. Israel gets the benefit of a couple of turnovers. They score 3 times, including one near the buzzer, to make it 6-5 at the break. And the pass here, great contact on Isabella Henson-Vendrell, and a card coming out against New Zealand. So Anya Koss heading off with a yellow. And Henson-Vendrell will pull it back. And on the buzzer-beating goal by Israel in that game to make it 6-5, there was a card. So Israel started the third quarter with the 2-minute player up. They would tie it at 6 and eventually win in the second half. And what a difference that makes between finishing as high as 6th out of that pool, Pool B, and the second place team finishing 15th. That's how critical those pool play games are for seeding. And instead, Puerto Rico being forced to play Canada in the first game. Rodriguez Shaw enters in, and the shot by Gabriella Henson-Vendrell as she's knocked down. Puerto Rico in no rush here. Shot there by Vega, stop made Jagger. Another feed carries through. This is off of the stick of Isabella Henson-Vendrell. So we're about to be all even. And New Zealand with a clear will have a chance to shoot to make it a 2-goal game. Reese Jocks looking for an outlet and has Moat. Back in goal for Puerto Rico is Bonilla Colon. Driving with the left, there's a goal by Moat. 7-5 with the clock moving under 3 minutes. Second of the game for Alana Moat. Played 5 games this year at St. Joe's in Philly. St. Joe's coach is Hall of Fame inductee Alex Cahoe. There's been a number of players. Steph Kelly playing for Australia, went to St. Joe's, PA. And St. Joe's has been open to finding players from down under. Nearing 2 minutes left. The clock will stop on any whistle under 2 minutes. Critical draw for New Zealand. We are now all even. And as Anya Kos had picked up that yellow just prior to the goal, that is a DQ, her second yellow. So it's 6-on-5 here for the rest of the game. This is what Puerto Rico had go against them yesterday in their 9-6 loss to Wales. So very difficult to try to cause a turnover. You need a mistake. And we'll watch for Jagger to try to jump out and perhaps try to intercept the pass. Puerto Rico a minute away. Jagger started to creep out. And for Puerto Rico, they're a minute away. The feed inside, and they take the shot. Jagger making the save, 45 seconds. Can they get the ball ahead? New Zealand looking for a clear. They get the foul on the stoppage. Harriet Overend waits for the whistle, and her pass sails through to the midfield. Backed up by New Zealand. The pickup by Perry. Outside it comes. Schum. Feed to the front. A catch made and a shot and a goal! Archer on the doorstep by herself. 16 seconds left. So New Zealand scores down a player. Timeout, New Zealand. They did not give up on this game, and Casey McLean has a shot. Casey's been around lacrosse for a long time. His story, pretty inspirational. He made the 2010 New Zealand men's national team as an attackman. But after a couple of ACL tears, just couldn't go about it anymore. He decided, I'm going to become a goalie. So he did. He tore his ACL again. 3 ACL tears for Casey McLean. Loves lacrosse. Going back to Manchester 2010, 2014 in Denver, and then 2018 in Netanya, Israel. And one of the rare coaches that has also coached the world team and the U19 team in the same cycle. So he has seen the game from all angles. And this would add to something special. They trailed 6-2 and did not have much life in the third quarter. And now they're a draw control away from having a chance to shoot for the tie. And they'll have to do it down a player. 5-on-6, so transition would be the best way. Skylar Carrasquillo. She'll draw against Olivia Archer of New Zealand. False start against Carrasquillo. There is time here for New Zealand, 5-on-6. Can they find a window? They go to the outside. New Zealand with a look with 10. And then knocked away from behind, but a foul. A stoppage for Danielle Hadwin, a defender. Bertram would be an obvious choice to try to find. They go to overend here with 6. Harriet overend shooting, and Bonilla Colon slams the door. Puerto Rico celebrates. They capture 11th place. A thrilling finish for Puerto Rico to end their time here at Towson. They hold off a valiant New Zealand comeback, 7-6. New Zealand nearly did everything right. They get Harriet Overend, one of their better players, able to turn the corner. That's a pretty solid look. As she tried to beat Bonilla Colon between the goal stick and the helmet. Puerto Rico celebrates. They finished their time here at the World Championships 5-3 and in 11th place. And with a very young team, the future so bright. 7-6 is our final. Congratulations to Puerto Rico. For our entire crew here at Towson, for our director Sydney Boxell and our producer Adam Teeter, my name is Ralph Bednarczyk saying so long and goodbye from Maryland on ESPN+.